Dozens of bodies, some decapitated, others dismembered, have been dumped in the streets of one Syrian city. The violence in the Syrian revolution is hitting new heights as the Obama administration increases the pressure tonight on the dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad. Today, they buried the dead in the city of Homs. As many as 60 civilians were apparently kidnapped and murdered in the last 2 days. In Geneva, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton met with Syrian exiles and called them courageous in their commitment to freedom and democracy. The uprising began last March, a revolt against the 40-year dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad and his father before him. Assad has tried to conceal his crackdown by banning independent reporting, but CBS News correspondent Clarissa Ward was able to slip into Syria. Tonight, she speaks to a growing army of rebels fighting for their freedom.
It was not a long drive, but our guides were taking no chances.
Checkpoints.
Past a government checkpoint, the car twisted along dark back roads outside the capital city, Damascus. After a certain point, we were blindfolded to protect the location of the safe house where we would find members of the Free Syrian Army. They are former Syrian soldiers. They say they refused orders to fire on their own countrymen and so decided to take up arms against the Assad regime. The commander spoke off camera for his own security. He told us, "We are fighting those who have made our children orphans and our wives widows." He claimed that his men have carried out attacks on military targets around the capital, the heart of Assad's power base. No one knows just how large the Free Syrian Army is, but the number of defectors appears to be growing. In this video posted by the opposition, former Syrian soldiers pledged to defend the Syrian people against the Assad regime.
Are you not scared that by turning this into an armed conflict, civilians may be hurt?
We did not choose to go to war, the commander said. It was imposed upon us to protect our people and our honor. This is who the opposition fears most, not the Syrian army, but supporters of President Assad known as the Shabiha. The name means thugs, but it is a play on the word for ghosts. A fitting description because the Shabiha do not wear uniforms. They infiltrate protests, and they are known for their cruelty. We were taken to the funeral of a 16-year-old boy who the opposition says was killed by Assad's forces. A man showed us a sign. "The Free Syrian Army represents and protects me," it read. In a smoky apartment, we found young activists debating late into the night about the role of the Free Syrian Army.
I guess that's some kind of necessary right now to protect those innocent people, because they're protecting people mainly.
Back at the safe house, when asked what they were fighting for, one soldier pulled out a photograph of his son. He told us he's willing to sacrifice himself so that the next generation of Syrians can be free.
Clarissa Ward joins us now. And Clarissa, I wonder, since the Assad government has such tight control over most of the country, how are those men getting those weapons we see?
Well, the men I was with say that they actually brought their weapons with them when they defected, and they try to confiscate anything they can when they're launching those raids on the Syrian army. But they did acknowledge that there is a shortage of weapons, and we've seen one way they've tried to deal with that situation is by having weapons smuggled in from neighboring countries like Turkey and Lebanon.
Clarissa, thanks very much. For his part, President Assad describes the opposition as, quote, armed gangs seeking to divide Syria.